Let's continue with another monologue around the self. For this one, the person starts with Midin de Owura Akwesi Sapon. Nanso dodoɔ no afrɛ me Oluwa. Midin de Owura Akwesi Sapon. Nanso dodoɔ no afrɛ me Oluwa. So we said to tell your name, you start with Midin de, right? Midin de. My name is, and then whatever your name is, you just replace Owura Akwesi Sapon here with that. Nanso dodoɔ no afrɛ me Oluwa. We have nanso, which is but, right? And then we have dodoɔ, which is many. In a previous monologue, I told you that when you say dodoɔ noa, you are saying the many. So the many out of the lot, as in the majority, all right? So we have dodoɔ noa frɛ me Oluwa. Many call me Oluwa. And then he continues. He says, "Me free Ghana. Me free Ghana." We said free means to be from or to come from. So this is how you tell where you are from. You start with me free. I am from, and then you put wherever it is that you are from here. Okay, so we have me free Ghana. I'm from Ghana. If you are from the US, you say me free America. If you are from London, you say me free London. So since he said me free Ghana, I'm from Ghana, that means he's a Ghanaian, right? So he says enti meye Ghanani. Enti meye Ghanani. So we have enti, which is so, and we have meye, which is I am. So we use this to tell your nationality, your profession, you know, anything that you can use I am to tell, you can use meye to tell. Your religion, your tribe, anything, right? But here he's using it to tell his nationality. I told you that this ni suffix, this is a person suffix, a singular person suffix. So when you come across a true word that ends in this particular suffix, it suggests that that word is in reference to a person, a single person. And whatever that person is will be dependent on what came before that. So if you put the name of a country, so for example, America, let's use America here, and then you attach ni, this ni suffix to it, you have a person who is from America, so an American, American-y. If you have a country like Togo and you put the suffix ni here, then you get a person who is from Togo, so a Togolese. So here we have Ghana, which is the country Ghana. So if you attach this suffix, this person suffix to Ghana, you get a person who is from Ghana, so a Ghanaian. And we said apart from nationality, we also use this to talk about tribe. So if you put the name of a tribe, for example, Asante, and then you attach this ni to it, you get a person who is from that tribe, so an Ashanti. So we have Asantini. If we have Bono, right? So we have Bono in Ghana, and you put ni here, you get a person who is a Bron, right? So we have Bononi, right? So any tribe or any country at all, if you attach this singular person suffix to it, then you get a person who is from that particular tribe or country. So here he says, "Enti me a Ghanani," so I am a Ghanaian. And then he continues. He says, "Mete kufuridia." Mete kufuridia. We said this te means to live in or to live at. So when you say mete, you add wherever it is that you live to that, and you have I live in this, I live in that, and it doesn't matter. This can be a town, a country, a specific address. So you could say Mete 5th Avenue, for example. Mete Koforidia in this case. Mete Kumase, Mete Nkran, Mete New York, Mete Addis Ababa. So wherever it is that you live, just replace Koforidia here with that, and that's it. And then he goes on. He says, "Yawo me kwesiada openima bosome da etoso nsia wo afe apem ahankron aduowotwe nkron. Yawo me kwesiada openima bosome da etoso nsia wo afe apem ahankron aduowotwe nkron." And this is how you tell your date of birth. First, we have wo, which is the verb to give birth. So if you say mawo, you are saying I have given birth. right? So you can say meyere awo, right? Meyere awo, my wife has given birth. So we have wo to give birth, but it's in the past. And that is why we have doubled the final letter. So we have yewo me kwesiada. Kwesiada is Sunday. How do you say Monday in Chi? Ejuada. Ejuada, right? As Monday. How do you say Tuesday in Chi? Ebnada, okay? And I'm putting the initial vowel in brackets because you can do away with them and it will still be the same thing. So you can have it as Ejuada or just Juada. You can have it as Ebnada or just Benada. How do you say Wednesday in Chi? Wukuada, okay? So we have Wukuada as Wednesday. It's easier because we have Wu here, right? How do you say Thursday in Chi? We have Yawada, okay? Yawada as Thursday. How do you say Friday in Chi? We have Efiada, Efiada or just Fiada as Friday. And then we have Saturday as Memeneda, okay? Memeneda is Saturday. And then there is Kwesiada as Sunday. So yawo me Kwesiada, I was born on Sunday. Openima bosome da etoso nsia. We have Openima, which is December. So the month December. Let's quickly go over the months of the year. So we have Opepon, okay? Opepon, which is January. Opepon. We have Ojefo as February, right? Ojefo, February. We have Obenem. Obenem is March, all right? We have Uforisio as April, right? Uforisio. We have Kotonima. Let's come here. Kotonima as May. And then for June, we have Ayewo Homomo. Ayewo Homomo, right? Ayewo Homomo. This is the longest in Chi. So we have Ayewo Homomo. Ayewo Homomo. That is June. And then we have Kitawonsa. Kitawonsa as July. Kitawonsa. For August, we have Osana. Osana is August. And then we have September, which is the shortest. Ebo, right? September is Ebo. And then we have Ehineme. Ehineme, right? Ehineme, which is October. Ehineme. And then for November, we have Obubu. Obubu is November. And then for December, we have Openima here. Openima is December. We have Bosome, which is month, right? Month. So when you say Openima Bosome, you are saying the month of December. Da is from Eda, which is a day, right? Eda, a day. And then we have the relative pronoun here, a, which can be which or that, okay? It can also be who, whose, and all that, but for here, it can be which or that as a relative pronoun. So when you say Openima Bosome Da, you are saying the day in the month of December that, okay? So the day in the month of December which etoso nsia. Toso means to fall on. And we have it here, right? So Openima Bosome Da etoso, the day in the month of December that or which it falls on Insia, which is 6. So this is the structure for telling a particular day in the month. So you say you bring the name of the month here and then you follow it with Bosome, which is a month, Da, a day which or a day that, etoso, that falls on, and then you bring the number as in the particular day in the month, right? So you can only use this as in etoso, right? The etoso part, you can only use that if the day is from 2nd onwards. Okay, so when it's from 2nd all the way to, the last day of the month, then you can use etoso because it falls on this particular day. It falls on that particular day. So etoso mienu, etoso miensa, etoso 9, etoso num, etoso eduonu. 20th, right? But if it's the first, for the first, it doesn't fall after a particular day. It actually comes first. This one is a tussle. That means it comes after a particular day. It falls after a particular day. But if it's the first, then it doesn't fall after a particular day. It actually starts. So for that, you would use a decan, right? A decan, because decan means to come first. So if we're talking about the 1st of December, for example, then we would say Openima Bosome da Edikan. So this would replace the whole of that. So Openima Bosome da Edikan, the 1st of the month of December. We have a lesson that teaches you how to tell, dates, how to tell the year and all that on our website. So you can check it out here. So we have Openima Bosome da Etoso Nsia. Nsia is the number 6. So whatever the day of the month, you just replace Nsia here with that, and then you have it. So Openima Bosome da Etoso Edununum, December 25th, right? So whatever, the day, just replace Nsia here with that. But if it's the first, then you replace everything here with just Edikan. That comes first. So he says, Yawo mekwesiada. I was born on Sunday, Openima Bosome da Etoso Nsia, the 6th of the month of December, right? Wo afe apem ahankron eduowache nkron. Wo afe apem ahankron eduowache nkron. And this is how you tell the year before the year 2000. Okay, so any year that is 19 this or 18 that or 16 that and all that before the year 2000, this is the structure. This is how you tell it. And it's quite simple. We have again a lesson on our website that teaches you how to tell the year. It's very simple, but let's quickly go over it here and see if you can get it. So let's take out Afe. Afe is the year. So for every year that you tell, this is what you start with. You start with the year that, the year that. Everything else that comes after Afe, when you are telling the year, everything else that comes after the Afe is actually a number. All right. So this is 1989, right? Now the easiest way to tell the year in Chi is to see this as a number, right? So forget about it being a year. See this as a number. If you see this as a number, this is 1000, right? 1000. This is 900. And then we have 89, right? So we have 1989. That is the easiest way to look at this. If you are able to tell this as a number, you just precede that with Afe, which is this one, the year, right? Afe, and then you have it. So everything that you see here, from here to here, is actually the number in Chi, the number, this one, 1989. So 1000 is Apem, right? 1000 is Apem. Thousands, as in the plural, is Mpem. Let's put it here. The plural is Mpem, thousands, right? But this is 1000, so Apem 1000. 900 is Ahankron. Ahankron. So we have Oha, which is 100, right? And then we have Ahenu, which is 200. We have Ahasa, which is 300. We have Ahanai, which is 400. Ahenum, 500. Ahensia, 600. Ahanson, 700. Ahanwache, which is 800. And then we have Ahankron, which is 900. It's here. Ahankron. So you see, Onkron is 9. And Aha is the plural of Oha, which is 100, right? We said Oha is 100. So the plural is Aha. So we have Ahankron as 900, right? And then we have Ediowachi. Ediowachi is 80, the number 80, all right? So again, we have Du, which is 10, right? We are looking at the tens. Du is 10. We have Eduonu, which is 20, right? Ediasa, 30. Edianan, 40. Eduonum, 50. Eduosia, 60. Edioson, right? 70. And then we have Ediowachi as 80. 90 is Ediokron, right? Ediokron. And then we'll have Oha as 100. So we have Ediowachi here as 80, which is here, right? So we've had 900 here, 80 Ediowachi here. And then we have 9 as Nkron, right? Nkron. So again, we have Baako as 1, Mienu, 2, Miensa, 3, and 9, 4, Enum, 5, Nsia, 6, and Son, 7, Nwachi, 8, and then we have Nkron as 9, and then Du as 10. So Nkron here is 9. So again, the easiest way to tell the year in Chi is to see this or any year at all as a number. And after telling it as a number, you just precede that with Afe, the year, and that will change everything to the year. So if you are given a year like 1897, for example, so we have 1897. This looks like a very difficult year to tell, right, in Chi. But again, just see this as a number first, right? As a number, we have the 1 here, which is 1,000, right? So this is 1,897. So 1 here is 1,000. We have 8 here as 800. We have 9 here as 90. And we have 7 here as 7, right? So if you see this as a number, then this being 1,000, you know 1,000 in Chi is Apim. So you put Apim here, 1,000. And then we said the 8 here represents 800. So 800 we said is Ahanwachi, right? Ahanwachi, that is 800. And then we have this as 90. 90 is Ediokron, right? Ediokron is 90. And then lastly, we have 7 here, which is 7. So 7 is Nson, right? So you have this as a number. And to turn this into a year, you just precede all that with Afe. Afe Apem Ahanwachi Ediokron Son for 1897. So it's not difficult. Just see the year first as a number. And after translating that in Chi, you just precede that with Afe. And you have the year that, the year that. So here he said, Yawo mekwesiada, openima bosumeda etosun siya, wo Afe Apem Ahankron Ediowachi Nkron, right? I was born on Sunday, the 6th day of the month of December in the year 1989. And then following from that, he says, Enti medimfie ediasanai. Enti medimfie ediasanai. We said enti is so, right? And then we said this is how you tell your age. You start with medimfie. I have attained this number of years, right? So whatever the number of years that you've attained, you just replace ediasanai here with that. But ediasanai is 34. Right, 34. So we have Ediasa, which is 30. And we have 9 from a 9 as 4. So if you are 46 years old, you say Enti medimfie Edianai Nsia, right? Or just medimfie Edianai Nsia. So we have Edianai Nsia as 46, right? If you are 61, you say medimfie Edusia Bako. Medimfie Edusia Bako. So we have Edusia Bako. So Edusia is 60, right? And then we have Bako as 1. If you are 77 years old, you say Medimfie Edioson Nson, right? Edioson Son. So Edioson is 70. And then we have Nson as 7. So Edioson Son is 77.